Hi, my name is Christian Waldegrave, Manager of Research at Teekay, and this is our conventional tanker market update for January 2015. Now, when we spoke to you last at the end of last year, the crude tanker rates were doing fairly well, and that was a continuation from strong rates in November going through to December. And it was due to a combination of both seasonal factors. We had some weather delays in the Atlantic and some stronger demand because of winter heating requirements. But it was also due to the impact of low oil prices. And those oil prices have continued to drop into the new year, into January. In fact, in mid-January, both Brent and WTI at about $45 per barrel, which is the lowest in over 5.5 years. And so that's having a positive impact on the tanker market in a couple of ways. Firstly, we're seeing that there's still a lot of buying of oil for stockpiling purposes. And that's both for strategic regions, but also for commercial stockpiles. And we're starting to see that show up in the import data. For example, China imported 7.2 million barrels a day of crude in December, which was a record import number for China. And it shows that countries like China and traders and refiners, they're looking to buy oil now it's at these very low prices and put it into storage. So that's good for tankers because it creates extra demand for oil movements, not just to satisfy consumption, but also for stockpiling. And then as those onshore oil inventories have started to fill, what it's done is it's steepened the contango in oil futures. And what that means is that now it's getting to a level where it's actually profitable to charter a ship, put oil on the ship for a period of time, and then make money from the spread in the futures price. And we're now starting to see the emergence of some floating storage. Just in the last week or so, we've seen more than 10 VLCCs being put on, either being fixed or put on subjects for storage time charters for anything from 6 to 12 months. And as a reminder, back in 2009, 2010, when we last had sort of mass floating storage, that soaked up a lot of available fleet supply and left the spot market quite tight and created very strong tanker rates. And we think the same might happen in the first half of 2015. As we see some VLCCs and potentially Suezmaxes get booked on storage charters, then it leaves fewer ships available on the spot market. And so that again gives a good boost to crude tanker rates. And then the third factor, which is positive for tankers, is that similar to what we've seen in the last 2 years, tanker fleet growth should be quite low again in 2015, at least on the crude side. We are seeing probably some fairly strong growth in the MR product tankers and the LR2 product tankers. But we see another year of shrinking fleet growth for Aframax, no fleet growth in the Suezmax, and only about 1% fleet growth on the VLCCs. So when you combine this very low fleet growth with very low oil prices, which is causing all these extra cargo movements, or all this stockpiling, and then you lay on top of that the floating storage, and then the low oil prices obviously have an impact on the bunker cost as well, cheaper bunker fuel. All those things are lining up, which means that the next few months should be very positive for the tanker market, and particularly for the crude and especially the larger ship types, the VLCCs and the Suezmax. Although the positive benefits usually trickle down because the Vs and the Suez and the Aframaxes all are usually correlated in the way they move. And so for the next few months at least, we don't see any change to the current situation. We think that low oil prices will persist, and we think it's going to be a very strong start to the year for crude tankers. So that's our update on the conventional tanker market, and we'll talk to you again next month.